Welcome back to Velmyst, UK. Tonight, we journey beneath the cold, dark waters of the North Sea, a place of storms, shipwrecks, oil platforms, and secrets hidden far below the surface. For more than half a century, sailors, engineers, and scientists have recorded strange sounds beneath these waters. Signals, echoes, patterns that seem to appear again and again. Some believed they were natural, others suspected forgotten machines, and a few wondered whether something much older was hiding beneath the sea itself. But perhaps the strangest part of all was that the signal never truly disappeared. Far below the waves, where sunlight cannot reach, lies a world few people ever think about. A world of ancient geology, hidden cables, Cold War technology, and endless silence. Yet within that silence, something appeared to be speaking, not loudly, not dramatically, but steadily, quietly, for decades. Tonight, we explore one of the North Sea's most fascinating mysteries, and the strange signal that refused to be forgotten. So dim the lights, relax, and let us descend into the darkness. The North Sea is one of the busiest stretches of water on Earth. Oil rigs, cargo ships, fishing vessels, and military patrols constantly move across its surface. But beneath that activity lies a hidden world that remains largely unexplored. For centuries, the North Sea has connected Britain with mainland Europe. Trade routes crossed its waters, empires depended upon it, and countless ships disappeared beneath its waves, leaving behind thousands of wrecks scattered across the seabed. By the 20th century, technology allowed humans to listen beneath the sea. Hydrophones, sonar systems, and underwater communication devices transformed the ocean into a world of sound. It was during this period that reports of unusual acoustic patterns began attracting attention. Not dramatic signals, not obvious messages, but sounds that appeared strangely persistent, appearing again and again. At first, many experts dismissed them. The ocean is filled with noise, whales, ships, earthquakes, and shifting geological structures all create sound. Yet some patterns proved difficult to explain. As decades passed, more listening devices were placed beneath the North Sea, especially during the Cold War, when both NATO and the Soviet Union were closely monitoring underwater activity. Military operators occasionally encountered signals they could not immediately identify. Most were eventually explained, but a few became stories whispered among engineers and technicians, stories that survived long after the Cold War itself had ended. Could these strange sounds have come from abandoned technology, old communication cables, forgotten surveillance equipment, or were they simply natural phenomena misunderstood by human ears? Nobody knew for certain, but as scientists continued exploring the ocean, they discovered something surprising. The deeper they studied the North Sea, the stranger it became, and the true story behind these mysterious sounds was only beginning. By the 1950s, the world had entered a new age, an age of suspicion, espionage, and silent warfare. The Cold War had begun, and beneath the oceans, an invisible battle was taking place. The North Sea became one of the most strategically important bodies of water on Earth. It connected the Atlantic Ocean to Northern Europe, and both NATO and the Soviet Union knew its importance. Listening stations began appearing everywhere, above the water and below it. New underwater microphones called hydrophones allowed scientists and military operators to hear sounds traveling for hundreds of miles. The sea itself had become a world of whispers. Every ship, every submarine, every movement left an acoustic signature. The United States and its allies invested heavily in secret underwater listening systems, networks capable of detecting Soviet submarines long before they approached Western shores. Few ordinary citizens knew these systems even existed. Most sounds had explanations. Passing ships, marine life, geological movements, even distant storms could create strange acoustic patterns. But occasionally, operators encountered signals that did not fit familiar categories. Some described repetitive pulses, Others mentioned low-frequency vibrations. Nothing dramatic, nothing like the movies, but enough to raise questions, and enough to remain in memory. As the years passed, stories spread quietly among technicians and engineers. Most never appeared in newspapers, and many were eventually forgotten. Yet a handful of reports survived, passed from one generation to another. Meanwhile, scientists discovered something remarkable. The ocean floor beneath the North Sea was far more complex than previously imagined. Ancient river systems, buried valleys, and geological structures hidden beneath layers of sediment. Could these geological features create strange sounds? Some researchers believed so. Pressure changes, shifting sediments, and underwater gas movements were capable of producing mysterious acoustic effects. Nature itself might have been responsible, but the deeper scientists investigated, the more possibilities appeared. Forgotten cables, sunken ships, Cold War equipment, natural anomalies, or perhaps something nobody had considered. And that is where our journey continues. Long before oil platforms, long before warships, and long before humans crossed these waters, the North Sea looked very different. Thousands of years ago, much of what lies beneath the sea today was dry land, a vast landscape connecting Britain to Europe, a world now lost beneath the waves. Modern scientists call this vanished land Doggerland. For thousands of years, people hunted and lived there. Rivers flowed, animals roamed, and entire ecosystems thrived, until rising seas slowly swallowed everything. Today, traces of this forgotten world remain buried beneath layers of sand and sediment. Ancient river valleys, forest remains, and even evidence of human activity have been discovered far below the North Sea. As oil companies explored the seabed, they made unexpected discoveries: fossilized trees, ancient bones, and landscapes that had remained hidden for thousands of years. The deeper they searched, the stranger the North Sea became. But nature was not the only thing hidden beneath these waters. Centuries of shipwrecks also rested on the seabed. Merchant vessels, warships, and aircraft lost during 2 world wars, each one carrying secrets of its own. Some wrecks still contain metal structures capable of producing unusual acoustic reflections. As currents move around them, sound waves behave in unexpected ways, creating echoes that sometimes confuse even modern instruments. Scientists also discovered enormous pockets of natural gas trapped beneath the seabed. Occasionally, gases escape through cracks, producing vibrations and sounds that can travel through water for great distances. Then there are underwater earthquakes. Most are too small to be felt by people, yet sensitive equipment beneath the sea can detect these tiny movements capable of producing mysterious low-frequency sounds. To researchers, the North Sea had become a giant puzzle. Every answer seemed to reveal new questions, and every strange sound brought another theory: nature, technology, or forgotten history. The possibilities seemed endless. Yet despite decades of study, some acoustic mysteries remained unsolved, not because they were impossible, but because the ocean itself is one of the least understood places on Earth, and somewhere beneath those dark waters, the strange signal appeared to continue, quietly, patiently, waiting. And that is where our journey continues. By the middle of the 20th century, the oceans had become part of a hidden battlefield. Not a battlefield of tanks and soldiers, but one of information, signals, and silence. During the Cold War, governments invested billions in underwater communication systems that stretched across vast distances. Thousands of miles of cables were laid beneath the sea. Some carried telephone conversations, others transmitted military information, and many remained secret. Invisible highways hidden beneath the waves. The North Sea itself became one of the most monitored regions on Earth. Submarines moved silently beneath its waters, aircraft watched from above, and listening stations searched constantly for unusual sounds. Not every piece of equipment was removed when technology changed. Some devices were abandoned, forgotten, or simply left behind. quiet reminders of a world that no longer existed. Engineers understand that signals can behave in strange ways beneath the sea. Water temperatures, pressure, and ocean currents all influence sound, sometimes allowing signals to travel enormous distances, far beyond what anyone expected. Some researchers wondered whether old communication equipment might still occasionally generate signals, not because machines were functioning normally, but because nature itself can interact with abandoned structures in unexpected ways. Others believed the explanation was entirely natural. After all, the Earth is never truly silent. Beneath the seabed, geological forces are constantly moving, creating vibrations that sensitive instruments can detect. Yet even with satellites, computers, and advanced sonar systems, the ocean remains one of the least understood environments on Earth. Much of it is still unexplored, and many mysteries remain. Perhaps that is why stories of strange signals continue to fascinate people, not because they prove something impossible, but because they remind us how much remains unknown, and how easily the sea can hide its secrets. For decades, theories have come and gone. Forgotten cables, natural acoustics, Cold War technology, ancient geology, each explanation revealing another layer of the mystery. And somewhere beneath those dark waters, the search for answers continues. Today, scientists possess technologies that previous generations could only dream about: powerful computers, advanced sonar, satellites, and underwater robots capable of exploring places humans have never seen. Yet despite these incredible tools, the ocean continues to guard many of its secrets. Researchers now know that the ocean is filled with sounds: whales communicating across vast distances, earthquakes beneath the seabed, ice movements, gas bubbles, storms, and the endless noise created by human activity. Together, they create one of the most complex acoustic environments on Earth. Most strange sounds are eventually explained, but some remain uncertain, not because they are supernatural, but because nature itself is often more mysterious than we imagine. And sometimes, questions take decades to answer. Perhaps the signal beneath the North Sea was never a single thing. Perhaps it was many things: ancient geology, forgotten technology, ocean currents, and echoes from a world hidden beneath the waves.
What makes the mystery fascinating is not necessarily the answer, but the journey itself. Because every discovery reveals how little we truly know about the oceans. Even today, more than 70% of our planet remains covered by water, and much of it remains unexplored. Perhaps somewhere beneath the dark waters of the North Sea, hidden beneath sediments and silence, there are still stories waiting to be discovered. Stories from ancient landscapes, forgotten ships, and technologies long abandoned. And maybe that is why mysteries endure, because humans have always looked beyond the horizon, seeking answers, searching for meaning, and listening carefully to the unknown. Whatever the truth may be, the North Sea remains one of the most extraordinary places on Earth, a place where history, science, and mystery meet beneath the waves. And perhaps tonight, as we drift into sleep, the signal itself continues somewhere in the darkness, not calling for help, not sending a warning, but simply reminding us that the world still holds mysteries. Thank you for joining us on this journey beneath the North Sea. And remember, some mysteries are not meant to frighten us, but to inspire wonder. Take care, and we'll see you again on the next journey into Britain's hidden past. If you enjoy calm storytelling, forgotten history, hidden mysteries, and relaxing documentaries designed to help you unwind, please subscribe to velmyst UK and join us again for another journey into the unknown.